One of these days I will get this thing straight, so help me. All right, let's see. Here we go. All right. Hey, everybody. Happy Pride. This is my throwing together when I couldn't make up my mind on a look thing. So this is what happens when you're trying to represent Pride, but also go for friggin' come at me, bro, at the same time. So prideful yet somewhat confrontational all at once. That's what this is going for. So I'm gonna adjust this a little bit more. I like that better. That is better. Get more of the rainbow on the top that way. So I'm digging it. You look fantabulous. Oh, yes, I love that word. I use that word a lot talking to my kid. Pride and wrath all in one. Yes! I can cover at least 2 deadly sins in one go. Could probably get lust in there too. You know, we'll see. Glasses are an excellent... Yeah, these glasses, they took a little while to grow on me. I am digging them at this point, though. Long-time listener, first-time caller, welcome! You look like a Time Lord. Really? Is your idea of a Time Lord? I dig it. Finally back in the States, so it's not 2 a.m. Oh, well, welcome back. I would say welcome back to the States. States isn't always welcoming these days, but I'm glad you're back. Love the lip color. Yeah, this is new. This is a villain-themed lip color. A friend of mine gave me this a week ago. Like, my sense of time has gone to absolute hell. Everything is bleeding together lately. I would love to see a Time Lord appear in that outfit. In a sense, Time Lords are all gender fluid. That's debatable. I've seen some people say that. I don't read it that way because because of how sort of forced by circumstance the shift is. But I mean, it's debatable. They certainly can shift around. So straight people pride, yikes. Ugh. Look, here's the thing. I'm annoyed that it's getting as much press as it is because, like, this kind of crap gets proposed almost every year. I just feel like it's getting more news ink this year, and I just wish it wasn't. That just annoys me, honestly, more than the thing itself, because there's always... And it's always guys. I don't want this to come off like an anti-male thing, but why is it always guys pulling this nonsense? That's not to say that I've never met a bigoted woman in my life, but never who pulls that kind of stuff. That's what I haven't seen. Do you like Randy Rainbow? That name rings a bell. I actually don't know for sure who that is. I was on the last episode of Good Omens. Oh, really? What scene? What were you? Where were you? What was going on? Were you a demon? I don't think straight people need Pride Week or month. Just have pride and or love for yourself every day. I mean, look, there isn't a straight Pride Day for the same reason there isn't a White History Month or a National Men's Day, because those people are on top. It's implied that they kind of have control of what's going on the rest of the time by default. So it's one of those things that I often say that, like, look, all things being equal, yes, you could have straight pride. The thing is, all things aren't equal. And so the reason we have pride is trying to bring the people who are not on equal footing up to equal footing. If we ever get to the point where we genuinely are on an even playing field, sure, fine, have your straight pride. I won't go, but fine. But you know what? It's not there. So, yeah. Greetings from Paraguay. Well, hello to you as well. Actually, there is a Men's Day. Yeah, I actually, even as I said it, I did wonder. Straight Pride is the Kia summer sales event. Michael Sheen was seeing a pit of fire in heaven. Oh, I'll have to go back and watch that now, see if I can spot you. White History Month. Oof, do we really want to revisit all that? Fair point. Like, if you actually want to take a close look at white history, it's a lot of stuff that, honestly, as a white person, I'd just as soon not have to deal with. That said, I probably should. Like, you should come to terms with your own cultural baggage. If you can. Not everybody can, for various reasons. Let's see. How many rainbows are on you right now? Well, it depends on whether you want to count the earrings collectively as one or one each. So if we do one each, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make a straight pride, not as counter protest, same time counter protest. I mean, like, that's the other thing. To put it in direct opposition with pride makes your intentions very, very clear. My only gay clothing is the 13th Doctor shirt. I have that too. Plus hair is 6. I don't have a full rainbow in the hair though. I mean, it's really only 2 colors. So I wouldn't count that personally. So, question, what do you think about the overwhelming amount of exclusionist I'm in the LGBTQ plus community? I myself have been yelled at when at Pride with the gender fluid flag. Yeah, as much as we say LGBTQ plus, and we certainly have shared interests because all the letters in that are facing discrimination on similar bases. We are not a well-knit group, and there is a lot of infighting between various letters within that little alphabet soup, which is really frustrating. I mean, like, the whole thing with Gareth Roberts kind of proves, like, being one of those letters, being gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, whatever, doesn't automatically mean you're going to be cool with all the other people who are part of that theoretical community, which is frustrating because you'd think there would be more empathy, if for no other reason than, like I said, you're facing prejudice against you for similar reasons from the same kind of people. It's, like, some of it I get. Like, I don't like any of it, and I don't excuse any of it. Some of it I get. Like, years ago, I get it less now since I've sort of shifted to gender fluid and identify more as trans. But, and, like, I use trans because I've transitioned out of male cis existence. I don't mean trans like I'm transitioning to a woman. No, still gender fluid. But when I was identifying as a straight cross-dresser, I used to get some serious grief from trans women. And as much as that wasn't fun for me, I did get why they didn't want me around, because I basically was what people would accuse them of being. I was a man in a dress. And given that trans women get it thrown into their face that that's all they are as a denial of their femininity, I get why they didn't want me around. Again, their anger would have been more properly directed at the people equating them with me rather than at me for just being there, but, misdirected anger is not exactly a new phenomenon. Considering that everyone in the LGBTQ plus has faced suffering in one form or another, we'd have some common ground. You'd think so. But like so many coalitions, it's only when we're focused on that common ground that we do okay. The problem is when we're not focused on that, and then we start to bite at each other. And that's not always. That's like, none of us can get along. No. A lot of us can. But like, there's always some elements that can't. There's always some elements that have no chill. For lack of a better way to put it. I haven't come out to anyone as non-binary in my life at all. I'm out as gay, but somehow I feel like coming out as non-binary would be something no one would really support, even friends. Non-binary is a tough thing of it. And you know, non-binary, genderqueer, agender, and I do think gender fluid is in this mix a little bit as well. But the thing about those is that transgender, what most people, you know, not the umbrella term, but when most people say it, they mean either trans man, trans woman. That dynamic, while a lot of people are okay with it, they can wrap their heads around it because it still fits the gender binary, that there are only two options, man, woman. Trans man goes from this to this. Trans woman goes from this to this. Still only two options. Non-binary, genderqueer, agender, bigender, gender fluid disregards the binary. It rejects the binary. And that is actually more foundationally disruptive than transgender is. And that's not me like downplaying the bigotry against trans men or trans women, because there's a lot of it. But like I said, there is not as much of a misunderstanding of just what they are with trans men or trans women as you get with the various versions of non-binary. So it can be tough. It can be really tough trying to know who you can be safe to come out with. Okay, this comment was blocked, but I'm going to address it anyway. You aren't special. All of you are so obsessed with sex. It's idiotic. Okay, here's the thing. This is not about sex. I don't get off on this. I don't do this for sexual thrills. I don't get aroused doing this. I do this because it taps into an element of myself that otherwise I don't get to fulfill in a day-to-day life. So if you want to say I'm obsessed with sex, I'm immediately going to go, you brought that up, not me. Who's the obsessed one here? So there we go. I can address this stuff calmly sometimes. Let's see. Sips water. Yes. What name would you like us to use when dressed in this fabulous way? Still don't care. You want to call me Nathaniel? You can call me Nathaniel. You want to call me Vera? You can call me Vera. Either one works. I even done up like this. I don't care. Unless I detect that someone is using male pronouns to be a dick, and I've gotten pretty good at picking up the vibe. Unless you're doing that, I don't care. It's actually very freeing to not care about your pronouns anymore. That's not to say I never have a preference, but it's pretty rare that I actually have a strong preference one way or the other anymore. It doesn't happen very often. How about fabulous? You're looking like a boss bitch. Gatekeeping in the community is definitely my least favorite thing about it, though. People can go hard on others for their own identities, which is frustrating. Yeah. I mean, well, the gatekeeping is almost kind of a whole other thing because, and it's one of the reasons that I've always been very cautious of labels in general, because the minute you have a label, And like when I found gender fluid, it took me a while to find it. I'd actually gone for a few years basically saying, I don't know what the heck I am. You figure out what to call it. When I found gender fluid, part of what I liked it is because the word fluid is in it, it already denotes that like this is a shifting thing. And I'm like, that covers things pretty well. But the thing with labels is people, whether they are the people applying the label to themselves or others who also use that label, there is a sense of, oh, if there's a proper name, then there's a proper way to do it, which means there's a way to do it wrong, which means that either some people might accuse you of doing it wrong, or I've seen people, I pop in every now and then to the gender fluid subreddit, and one of the most common threads I see in there is someone going, am I allowed to call myself gender fluid, or am I gender fluid enough? Like, I remember there was someone who said, 95% of the time I feel this way, and it's only like 5% of the time that I feel different about my gender. And like jumping in and telling them, you're still gender fluid. There isn't a quota. You don't have a minimum percentage to meet. It doesn't have to be 50-50. You still have as much right to use that label as anybody else. That's how I feel. There are other people in the community who are much more gatekeepy about, gender fluid is usually pretty laid back, at least in my experience, but certainly in many elements of the LGBTQ plus community. Whatever your specific label is, there will be somebody who will tell you you're doing it wrong, which frustrates the heck out of me to see. I love to see in full bloom side of you. Oh, that's a fun way to put it. The new Doctor has another season, or at least, or is it the series? I'm assuming that's something I missed. Question, the Black Mirror episode, do you think it's unrealistic that game disc cartridges would still exist in the VR future? No, because technologically speaking, they're already outdated, but some people still like to have physical media. So I strongly suspect that whole striking vipers, the physical thing, is not dissimilar to buying a physical copy of a game now, when you can just as easily get a completely digital version and download it onto the hard drive of your computer or your PS4 or whatever your gaming platform is. But some people still like physical media. And especially if you're going to give it to somebody as a gift, it's nice to be able to give them a physical thing. So no, I totally buy that. Well, thank you, Connor. There's a movie from 1980 called Ordinary People. This movie is special to me because in many ways it changed my outlook on life. Do give it a watch. I have seen tiny bits of that. That's Timothy Hutton is in that. Robert Redford directed it, didn't he? If it's the one I'm thinking of. Have you seen Pose? I have not. I've been subscribed to you for about 2 years, and although I'm like the most vanilla straight guy who doesn't really get all of this, I wanted to say whatever makes you happy is great. Thank you. And that's the thing. Like, I don't demand that people get me. Like, if you could just not harass me, then we're good. Like, acceptance is an amazing thing. I don't have a base level expectation of acceptance. Tolerance, I do kind of have an expectation for that, or at least a hope for it. And I get a lot of it on this channel, even from people who put in their comments, hey, look, I don't get it, but okay. And I'm so okay with that. Like, that, cool. Because you know what? There's stuff I don't get, like about various people, but if I don't think they're hurting anybody, it's like, okay, it's working for you. I'm happy for you. And I wish more people could do that. Thoughts on, oh yeah, okay. So thoughts on The Good Place ending with season 4. Probably for the best. Because that was always my paranoia with The Good Place, that it would just keep going and it would lose steam because like every season has been good, like despite the fact that I really was worried legitimately that it was going to write itself into a corner at some point. So if season 4 is going to be the last season and they know it and they're going to close it out, I'm like, that's probably the best thing. I'm going to miss it so much, but like that's probably for the best. Do you watch the channel Thomas Sanders? He is a marshmallow and very inclusive of everyone. I actually don't think I've heard of him. That would be a new one to me. Did you see the article on Ruby Rose addressing not being lesbian enough because Rose identifies as gender fluid? I didn't, but I'm not surprised to hear that. Yeah. Or like the thing that you get a lot. Have you watched Tales of the City? What did you think? I haven't seen that. And no, I won't be reviewing the Chernobyl miniseries. I don't have HBO anymore. But anyway, what I was going to say is what you'll get a lot sometimes is someone who is bisexual but will have a long-term relationship with, with one gender. And then people will start to claim, oh, bisexuality was a phase. You're obviously, you're obviously just straight or you're just gay, depending on what their current long-term relationship is. But like, no, they're still bisexual. They can be attracted to both, and they've settled down with one. Doesn't mean that that attraction to the other is gone. It's almost like demanding that bisexual people be polyamorous with a member of each gender to avoid doing that, to avoid being boxed in like that. It's a lot of BS. Oh, thank you, Opopt. Opopt 2. Let's get it in there. Love people explaining asexual and aromantic so casually. It's nice when things can get talked about in simple terms. Are you aware of the rationality rules trans sports controversy? I often wonder if people outside of YouTube atheist scene hear about this kind of stuff. No. No. And just from the sound of it, I kind of feel like I don't want to know about it. But no, I'm not familiar. Just because a straight man is in a monogamous relationship does not mean he is not still attracted to other women. Thank you, James. Exactly. Okay, so this is Ordinary People. It was directed by Robert Redford. It stars Donald Sutherland, Mary Tyler Moore, Timothy Hutton, and Judd Hirsch. Won 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. I do like Donald Sutherland a lot. May I ask what you think about more out of control gender identities? Like, where do you draw the line? I don't know what you mean by that. Like, you're gonna have to be more specific than that, because I'm not entirely sure where you're going with that question. 90% of my relationships have been with guys, and almost all my friends assume I'm gay. Which, and here's the thing. That's not necessarily an unfair assumption for them to make. But where I get frustrated is when people say, like, well, no, I'm bisexual, and they go, no, you're not. You're gay. I've only known you to be with people of your own gender. So, like, that's what really gets my hackles up, is a denial of what someone is. If you just don't know, if you don't pick up on it, like, that's fair enough. But, Well, thank you, Tracy. Claw from California. No quest, just want to say hi and happy Pride. Pride for all. Will you ever do more Buffy videos? As much as I love Passion of the Nerd's analytical style, I really love your rambliness. They're both great in different ways. The only Buffy idea that I have that's on the docket with no date planned, so don't ask me when I'll get to this, is Buffy is on the list of franchises to give the sorting into Hogwarts houses treatment to. Because I still want to do more videos like that with Liz. But it's hard for us to film. Hopefully we'll get a little more time this summer to shoot some stuff like that, because I So far, we've only done Marvel Phase 1. I want to do Marvel Phase 2. I want to do Buffy with her. I'd like to do Star Wars. You know, I've got a fair number of franchises I'd really love to give that treatment to, mostly with her if I can. Thank you, Torsten. Much appreciated. I've seen that bi thing a lot. A YouTuber I follow on here named Mike MGTV has been very open about issues from being bi. Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny because, you know, like I said, the gender fluid, bi-gender, genderqueer, non-binary sort of thing. I'm not gonna say it's newer. It's been around forever, but sort of like having words that are in common parlance for these things is fairly recent. But I mean, bisexual, you know, LGBT was the original lumping of letters. And the B's right in there, and yet there's a lot of bisexual denial. It's really frustrating. You and Wingy Media inspire me to make YouTube videos. I haven't started yet as I have anxiety, but I'm getting into it in a few weeks or month. Thanks for being you. You're important to me. Thank you, Jay, and best of luck. Like, the best thing that you can do is just practice. Like, just start shooting stuff. Even if you decide, oh, that's crap, I can't use it. Just, like, get used to being in front of a camera. You know how humans and the culture can transition just by deciding to, would you become open to the idea, or at least temporarily fully transitioning if it was that easy? If it was that easy and I could shift back, sure, just out of morbid curiosity. And, funnily enough, I have finished the book. I'm actually going to be shooting the review for that tomorrow. That'll go up, I think, next week. So, you can assure your parents, the review's going up. I've read it. So happy to be here with so many in my tribe. Yeah, it's great. Any news on the bi rep video? I asked because I'm bi. Yes. Again, the delay on that is that the person who I want to shoot it with, it is a 1-2 combination of schedules aligning, and they really want to prep. They prep more than I do. So it's a question of schedules aligning and also them having done the research that they want to do in order to have the informed conversation. It's going to happen. It's distinctly possible that a non-binary representation video will go up first, because I've actually already shot that, even though I wanted the bisexual representation to happen first, but we'll see. It's it's tough. Scheduling is a bitch. Like, that's the reality. I would love to do more collaborations. I've got a list of like 3 people who I've like, would you like to collaborate? And I'm like, yes, and like then it's just a matter of freaking scheduling anything. Hey. Gonna do my makeup and have a glass of Prosecco, you too. Happy Pride. Thanks for being you. Thank you, Donna. I hope and then I went back home and everything went back to normal ending wasn't anticlimactic. The ending wasn't anticlimactic. The ending was interesting, though. Like, you'll get the full review. You'll see my thoughts. Someone else has probably asked already, but being fluid, which pronouns do you... Pronoun question, everybody drink. Like, I don't care. Like, the complicated answer is that my pronouns are situational. My preferences shift with my presentation. The short version is that I don't care, because I don't have an expectation for anyone to keep up with my own personal feelings and things shifting about. In the past, I have said use lipstick as a marker. If I'm wearing lipstick, use female pronouns. And even though I'm not necessarily going to say I'm abandoning that, like, at this point, I just don't care. Like, even with the lipstick, I don't really care. It's whatever. Well, thank you, Gabe. Happy Pride Month. A famous playwright and actor said it best. Love is love is love is love is love. It is about loving and respecting all, not about sex. I love and respect all. Yes. Oh my God. Like, it's so frustrating that so many, and again, I'm not all, not all straight cis people, but that so many cis people make anything that isn't cisgender heterosexuality about sex, even if it's not about sex, either exclusively, primarily, or even at all, in the case of some of this stuff. And it's just, I brought it up when I talked about the whole think of the children thing, because I think, people think we have to shield young people from transgender, gender fluidity, homosexuality, and I think for them, it's a natural outcropping of the desire to shield children from sex, which, how healthy that is another debate to be had, but it's a fairly instinctive parental thing. But, like, you're lumping together people's identities that don't necessarily have a lot to do with sex, at least not any more than being heterosexual does. But you insist that it's all about sex, and we're just over here like, not so much, really. It's, people get weird hang-ups. Told my BFF about you over vacation. She's not a big geek so much, but she's a big supporter of LGBTQ+. Well, thank you for that. It's helpful when people recommend the channel, which has finally started growing again, subscriber count wise. I have been hovering just shy of 35,000 subscribers for like 2 months, and I finally crossed it. Actually today. So that was nice. My family have told me that you can't love someone without having sex with them. I'm asexual, and they tell me this every time the subject comes up, and it's just so frustrating. Oh, God. Really? That's their line? Like, I have many people that I love, and even have at some point loved in a romantic fashion, that it does not have to involve sex. I still love my daughter's mother. We're not together in that way anymore, but I still love her. I love Liz. I have best friends who I will say that I love them. It's a lot like the conflation of gender with physical sex. Sex is in your sexual organs. And it's conflating romance with sexual intercourse. And they're not, for many people, they are tightly linked and or synonymous, but they're not for everybody. And you don't get to say, well, this is what it is for me, so that's what it has to be for you. Like, no, just no. Have you ever thought of doing more videos dressed like this? Like, not only the LGBTQ plus representation. I'd love to see more like this. Love your style. I mean, a big part of it is like this takes a while. This is a lot of work. And this is a big part of why I don't, like, even when I do the LGBTQ plus stuff, all I do is let the hair down and like swap out the glasses and maybe put like a bow in or something. I don't do full makeup because this is a pain. Like, I'm happy with the results, but like this, it's not, like, some people genuinely enjoy the makeup. I enjoy the results. I don't enjoy the process particularly. Sex is a DLC you don't have to get if you don't want to. Sex is an optional microtransaction. That's what sex is. Do you watch ASMR videos? I actually don't. That's one of those things where I'm just like, I don't get it. Like, it's fine. That's your thing? Cool. I don't get it. Whatever effect those things have on some people, it's lost on me. Pain is beauty. No, pain is not beauty, but there is pain for beauty. Pain for beauty is high heels and false lashes. And, oh, you know what? I'm going to take this off for a second so that I can actually show off the lashes. Because you don't always get the full effect when they're behind the glasses. There we go. WTF. Welcome to the channel, Matthew. I'm A, so does that make me free to play? What are you doing for Pride this year? For Pride Month itself, not much, because I've mentioned this before. Vermont Pride is in September. So there's like no events going on near me. One thing I don't get is when people say being asexual is just a phase. Oh, yeah. Like, it's... like, this came up when I did the video with Ming Kobayashi on asexual representation. There are certain things that are just assumed. It is assumed that you will have those attractions someday, and much like it's long been presumed that everybody, you know, has a desire to have kids. Like, if you don't have kids and you haven't already had, like, I've had my daughter. I've now also had a vasectomy, so I'm not going to have any more. But the fact that I have bred once, people don't think too much of it. But if I'd gotten the vasectomy without having had any kids, people would have been like, well, but what if you want kids? I said, I don't, and I won't. And they're like, but you will. Someday you will. I was like, no. And that's how it is for some people. And it's the same with sex. Some people's like, no. You know, God, so much stuff is a phase. If you're masculine, being girly is a phase. If you're feminine, being a tomboy is a phase. If you are bisexual, that's a phase. Asexual, it's a phase. Oh, so many freaking phases. I'm not the moon. I mean this honestly when I say it. If I could meet any YouTuber in person, I'd meet you. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Everyone's performing their gender all the time. Even cis people are basically just acting. Yes, I mean gender. Here's the funny thing. People will sometimes say performative gender as like, and that'll get hurled at trans or you know, non-binary, non-standard gender conforming people, like it proves that this is fake because it's performative. But gender is a societal construct. That does not mean, now here's the thing, societal construct is not the same thing as non-existent. It exists as created by the society that we live in. And gender is by its nature performative. When I am masculine, I am performing masculinity. When I'm feminine, I'm performing femininity. When I'm in the middle, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but by its nature, it is performative. There is something that you are doing, most of us at least, there's something that we do to affirm our identity. The thing is, since statistically the vast majority of people are cisgender, we don't think very much of a man affirming his masculinity in some way or a woman affirming her femininity in some way, unless it is in a manner that is so over the top that's like, whoa, wait a minute. You know, like you know, the big dude bro bodybuilding things, like, okay, you're overdoing how much of a guy you are, or, you know, things like that. Unless it's taken to that level, we don't think anything of it because that's the expected normal. Like, everything is shaped by what is quote unquote normal, but too many people default to the statistical majority to decide what is normal, and that anything that doesn't fall under the numerical majority is there's something wrong with it. Like it's not okay to be a minority. There you go. J.K. Rowling hasn't told me my sexuality yet. Well, she will. Give it enough time, she'll get to you. She gets to all of us, because let us not forget that your sexuality is not something that is determined by your biology or your upbringing or anything else. It is something bestowed upon you by J.K. Rowling over Twitter. I don't really like the feminine gender role, but I like wearing dresses, and that's fine too. That's another thing. Is like, for me, putting on a dress serves a function of connecting me to my femininity. But even if it doesn't serve that function for you and you are male identifying, that's still fine to put on a dress. I mean, dresses can be awesome. They're wonderful and freeing and flowy, and you twirl in them. They're a hell of a lot of fun. Not enough of them have pockets. But aside from that, like, dresses are great. And there's no shame in wearing. You can wear, if you're a guy, you can wear a dress. You don't have to perform femininity along with that. I've really come to like your LGBT plus videos. Thank you so much. I enjoy doing them quite a bit. J.K. Rowling said that bisexuality is very important to my life, but she wasn't going to make it canon in my memory. Yeah, that sounds about right. Would you adopt a YouTuber from your channel? Just wondering. Cheeky. I love sundresses, but suits are awesome too. I love, like, just personally, like, taking a moment here, I love feminine like makeup, and not like a drag king or fake facial, like feminine presenting in a suit or a tux. Oh, like some of the sexiest pictures, like there's pictures from the 20s of like these Hollywood starlets in tuxedos. Oh, go. Love it. I have always loved it. What's the opposite of asexuality? I think I might be that. I swear I have far more testosterone than the typical gal. I would say it is possible to have an overdeveloped sex drive. That's, I mean, I'm not saying necessarily medically. I don't know if that's a condition, but like, that's a thing that can happen. One of the things I don't like about the culture is the fact that Banks presumes the gender binary would still exist in utopia, even if going between them could be easy. Okay, see, like, I'm glad you acknowledge that, because that is something I'm going to bring up when I do the review. And again, like, you gotta wait for the review for my full thoughts, but it's one of those things that I think is partly chalked up to, we're talking about the book Player of Games, which I was commissioned to review. Review will be out next week. I finished reading it. I think the fact that it was written in the 80s is part of that, because there are some elements that are in there that at the time kind of would have gotten, oh, that's novel, just because they were ideas that weren't being done a lot. But like things like the members of the culture being able to shift their gender very easily, almost at a whim. But it doesn't really do anything with that, and he didn't play out how that would affect gender dynamics. And I chalk that up to the idea was kind of new. I'm not going to say he was the first one to come up with it, because I don't know that, but he was probably one of the earlier ones to put that prominently in a book. So, he wouldn't have had the groundwork laid by somebody else where he would have thought, oh, I should take that idea further, because he was just kind of planting the seed a little bit. Sex addict? Not personally. No. Oh, okay. Excuse me. I gotta ban somebody. And boom. Bye. You should watch John Wick 2 if you want to see a woman in a suit. It's been a while since I've seen that. I haven't rewatched it. When is the third John Wick coming out? Or it's out already, isn't it? It came out. That's another movie that did not come out where I am. Or has it not come out? I can't keep track. And like my local theater actually added on another screen. It's 4 screens now. It's still not getting some stuff. Anyone interested in a utopian novel with a positive portrayal of gender fluidity and queerness should read Woman on the Edge of Time. Well, I already like the title. Just want to say I can't hide my NB pride. Well, show your pride, Rusty. Mwah, and bless you, and thank you. Stream is a bit glitchy. Oh dear, I hope so. Hope it's not. Can any gender be a nymphomaniac? Well, yeah. I mean, again, because sex drive is not something that is synonymous to any particular gender identity, yeah. Anybody can be a sex addict. That's... Blake Lively in her suits in Simple Favor. My, oh my. Haven't seen that one. What do you think about RuPaul not allowing trans women on her show? What I'll say is that her decision to do that is, at least from my experience, fairly representative of much of the drag queen community, because the drag queen community can be very gatekeepy. I actually did a video talking about whether or not drag is transphobic over on the Vera Wild channel. So that's up there if you want to check that out. I think it's actually the newest video that's up there still. I need to shoot another video for that channel. But my experience with the drag queen community is, first of all, incredibly outdated. I haven't done like a proper drag show in like 12 years because I've been doing burlesque. But my experience in the drag queen community, RuPaul's decision to exclude trans women is kind of representative of what I've seen. Many prominent drag figures feel that drag is the domain of cisgender gay men. And that if you aren't all 3 of those things, or at the very least 2 of them, then you have no business doing drag. They really expect you to be all 3. Because I know I kind of got grief because I didn't identify as a gay man. Like I did when I was doing drag, I was still identifying as a cisgender man. I cross-dressed, but I still thought of myself as cisgender. But, you know, just because I wasn't gay, I got some pushback on that. Let's say there was a potion to change your sex within seconds painlessly, making it easy to transition to either sex. Would you use one? Well, yeah. Morbid curiosity, if nothing else. You should do a special on the Time Lord houses, speaking of Hogwarts. I actually don't know a ton about them. Because that's all, like, expanded universe kind of stuff, which isn't usually my bag. Not unless it's tied to a story. Like, I don't enjoy reading basically an encyclopedia entry. Thank you, Op2. Again. Some of the later books play with the idea, like in one, a couple switch at around the same time so they can have babies at the same time. Kind of regret not having you review that one. I mean, no worries. And like I said, I wasn't planning to slam the book on that basis, so don't worry about it. Not a regular thing, but would you consider streaming on the weekends occasionally, please? No. Like, here's the thing you need to realize. I landed on Tuesdays by default. So, my weekends are one of 2 things. Either I have my daughter, and when I have her, on Saturday nights, we have slumber party. She actually sleeps in my bed and splays her arms out and digs her knee into the small of my back. But so that's Saturday's gone, and forgive me for like not wanting to necessarily blow a Friday night on these. And the other thing is like the other weekends are my weekends when I don't have my kid, which is usually when I'm seeing Liz and I'm not physically in the house. So, like, I landed on Tuesday because Tuesday was the only date that I looked at myself and went, I can reliably do Tuesday every week. I'm not gonna rule out ever doing a weekend live stream, but it's if I ever think I'll do that, I'll announce it in advance, and it will probably be like for an occasion, because like I'm already doing a weekly. Pride all around. Thank you. A lot of transgender YouTubers being honest about their life, educational, but also somewhat sad. It frequently is. I'm actually like incredibly lucky because my own story is in no way involves me being rejected by the people who matter the most to me. I was never thrown out of the house. I never had someone say that they couldn't be my friend anymore, and that is a really common thing in a lot of transgender stories, which is it's sad. Thank you, Torsten. Thank you very much. But it happens a lot, but I've been super fortunate, like insanely so, in terms of just not having to deal with a lot of crap, in my direct personal life. I deal with crap online, but, don't we all? You already do a lot for us. Don't feel like you have to give up more of your own time. I just shifted my position at work so I could spend more time with my family, so I get it. Yeah, like work-life balance is... It's not easy, and it doesn't help that like the office environment of the job that I'm still at has shifted to them not really caring about your work-life balance anymore. They care about your work, do the work when we say do the work, and we don't really care what happens at your home. So, fun stuff. Have you read the book George? I haven't, but I'm very familiar with it because, so for people who didn't know, Liz is a school librarian, and she had a book challenge, like she had George available for the students, and some parents of a student challenged the book's placement and tried to get it banned from the library. So she had to go through this entire book challenge process defending the book and its placement there. So while I have not read George, I'm very familiar with it. I just had an idea for a video you could do. Top 10 sitcoms. Like, I know what ones I like, but the thing is, there's a lot of prominent sitcoms that I either haven't seen or don't enjoy. So, and that's not to say that, like, it would have to be a pop, but, like, sitcoms as a genre is something I usually don't dip into. Like, it's part of the same reason that I probably wouldn't do, like, a best sci-fi series on TV, because, like, there's so many that are good, or that are supposedly good, that I haven't seen. Like, I'm trying to think in terms of sitcoms that I like, if I could come up with a top 10 favorites. Sending you hugs from Michigan. Thank you. So sitcoms that I really like. The Good Place, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Jeez. and now I'm drawing a blank. I did like Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, but I only did one season. I haven't gone back since then. Cheers. Okay, Cheers would be on there, definitely. So that's the other. I think I'd have a hard time hitting 10, to be completely honest. What is your favorite Broadway musical? It's next to normal. Liz is amazing. I love her. I love your videos together as well. Thank you. I love having her on. It's fantastic when we can shoot something together. Did you hear The Good Place is ending with season 4? Yes, I did. And honestly, because I know it's, at least to my understanding, it's the call being made by Michael Schur, who creates the show. I think he probably knows what he's doing. There's also a character in one of the books who deliberately becomes neutered because she's a super ascetic. Huh. Interesting. Okay, gotta go to bed, work out tomorrow. Oh, geez. Hold on. Did I just lose everything? All right. All right, it's back. Frasier. Frasier's okay. I like Cheers better. Have you sorted Doctor Who characters into Hogwarts houses? No, that's on the to-do list. That one I'll be doing by myself, because while I have got Liz on to Doctor Who, it's slow going because I want to watch them with her. So she's not just burning through. And also I'm selecting a viewing order for her, and it's a curated list of episodes. I'm not. There's a lot we're skipping. I love Doctor Who, but you know. Liz is always awesome. She's so nice, very smart. Yeah, she is. What other British TV shows do you watch other than the obvious? Not a lot currently. My mother actually just burned through all 19 seasons of Midsummer Murders. That was her poison for a little bit, and that was after being on The Crown for a little. I think my mother actually might be more up on British TV than I am at the moment. Funnily enough. Ever watch Farscape? I own the entire set of Farscape, all 4 seasons, and Peacekeeper Wars. I like Farscape a lot. Second season's the best, but I like that show a lot. Luther rocks. I couldn't get into Luther. I wasn't entirely, I can't put my finger on what it was about Luther that didn't click for me, but I couldn't get into it. Okay, don't know what's going on there. Lucifer being renewed brings me much joy, though the ending of the last season is decent. Lucifer I also couldn't get into. Gave that episode 3, gave that show 3 episodes, and I don't know what it is. Something about the actual guy who's playing Lucifer. He annoyed me. I don't know. I can't say why. And like, that's not me saying that no one else should like it. A lot of people do. Awesome. But like, he didn't do it for me. Which shows are you watching now? Current stuff? Well, I mean, I need to start watching the latest season of Legends of Tomorrow, because I really like that one. I watched The Good Place, which is now ending. I mean, I'll see Westworld when it comes back. I really don't know where they're gonna go for the 3rd season on that one. Doctor Who, obviously. Like, a lot of stuff that I like is wrapping up or has wrapped up. We're getting one more season of Jessica Jones. Oh crap, that's later this month, isn't it? There's one more thing I gotta find time for. She-Ra I really like. Game of Thrones ended. Gotham ended. Man. Shout out to Vicious. For those who haven't seen it yet, highly recommend The In-Betweeners, but if you're not from the UK, it may not be as good for you. Have you watched Barry? It's really good. I haven't. Like, I dropped my HBO subscription once Game of Thrones ended. Yes, I am that geek. All right, ladies, got to bounce. It's 3 a.m. and I don't want to end up talking like Austin Powers tomorrow morning. Yeah, baby, yeah. Water. Yes, water. When I was like 12, I read The Only Human and loved it. How do you deal with finding out a book you love was written by a not good person? I don't know, because different people deal with it different ways. I don't think I've had it happen with a book, but there have been movies that I love that are either difficult for me to watch or that I can't watch anymore or I haven't tried to. So some of my favorite movies, like in the past, have included Braveheart, Mel Gibson, The Usual Suspects, Double Whammy, Bryan Singer, and Kevin Spacey. I adore that movie. I don't know when I'm ever going to have the stomach to watch it again. And I always thought that, and it still is one of the best, regardless of anything else. But like one of the best stand-up specials ever made was Bill Cosby himself. And I've still got my copy of Braveheart and The Usual Suspects because I'm hoping maybe at some point I'll process enough where I can try watching those again. But I flat out got rid of my copy of Bill Cosby himself. I didn't want it in the house. That was how gross that made me feel. Yes, I am that geek. Great name for a YouTube channel. Let's see. No, actually. There's someone in the comments just typing gay, gay. I'm like, no. I mean, probably not the way you're meaning anyways. I mean, because I suppose that's the other thing, and I mentioned this like in a Doctor Who video ages ago. When you have a fluid sense of gender, like, what does gay even mean? Under those circumstances, I don't know. That's why I don't use the term generally to refer to myself. And okay, you know what? At this point, it's starting to eat up the chat. Bear with me for a second, and bye-bye. There we go. That was easy. Kevin Smith. Yeah, Kevin Smith. I haven't liked a Kevin Smith movie in a while. I would love to hang out with him, though. I would love to just kick back and, like, with friggin' cheese fries and Irish coffee and just shoot the breeze with him for, like, an hour. Dogma. I do like Dogma. I think the last Smith movie that I liked was probably Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, which I also have. Well, no, actually, that's not true. I did like Clerks 2. A lot more than I thought I was going to. So that was probably the last one. I haven't seen all the movies he's made since then, but I've seen some of them. It's a mixed bag. Looking forward to your Deadline review later this month. It's one of my all-time favorite Big Finish styles. I actually just listened to that today. That's another video I've got to shoot. That was, that was a thing. I really do like your LGBTQ plus videos. Thank you very much. Clerks 2 was a pleasant surprise. Yeah, it really was. I was really kind of surprised how well that turned out. I went through the disconnect with a favorite author. Those books actively contradicted his professed ideology. I chose to believe the books, and then I dug deeper and figured out the reason. I mean, that is something worth pointing out, is that it's not uncommon for there to be a disconnect between someone's personal beliefs and what they put down in a book. Not everyone uses their creative works as an outlet or a venue to vent their political beliefs, and sometimes narratives that they write will be devoid of that, or will even be in a direct contradiction because they were writing what they felt was a good story, and if they weren't, and if they didn't have their political leanings in mind, the story might have gone in a direction that actually contradicts what they themselves believe. That actually does and can happen. I'm not sure it happens a ton, but it can, because while everything is political to some degree, because everything is created in a world with context and the people who create it have political beliefs, there's still not everyone is deliberately inserting their politics into things. So how that factors into your ability to continue to connect with a piece of work created by someone whose politics you disagree with, that may be a factor that helps. Maybe it doesn't. Again, like I don't like to dictate how people should or shouldn't deal with pieces of art by people they don't like. It's always harder in the modern context when you're talking about someone who's still alive, because if you purchase, their work, you are financially contributing to them. When it's someone who is deceased, like Walt Disney, H.P. Lovecraft, I think it's easier to separate that in terms of not feeling like you're supporting their beliefs by liking their work, because they're dead. You can't actually financially support them anymore. And that's not me wishing death on a whole bunch of creators. I'm just saying that it makes things simpler. That's it. I want to eat my flan, but I'm still too full. Oh, the struggle is real. I just want to eat everything. I want to eat the whole world. Wow. There are some interesting things going on here. When can we expect the other Black Mirror reviews? The Monday. So Smithereens will be Monday coming, and then Rachel, Jack, and Ashley 2 will be the Monday after that. I've seen all three. I've actually shot the reviews for all three, but that's the pace they're coming out. Oh, somehow we've gotten onto Orson Scott Card. I was wondering, I could see like some of the things being tossed back and forth. And I was like, I wonder who they're talking about. Orson Scott Card. Oh, there we go. Should have guessed. I think we are gonna need to wrap it up kind of soonish. Not quite yet, but soon. Gotta run. Thanks for the stream. Thank you for stopping in, Violet. Much appreciated. I want to eat the entire planet made of cookies. Cookies Planet. I have strange tastes. I mean, I don't think cookies are that strange a taste. Wanting a planet of cookies, that's a little unusual. It's not spelled out in Player of Games, but Banks has very much put his politics in his work. Did you get that Banks was anarchist communist? Yeah, a little bit. I picked up a little bit on that. Is Doctor Who your favorite show? Yes. Yes, it is. I love Agatha Christie, but boy, was she problematic. I mean, like, you're going to look at anything that old, you are going to get that, but yeah. If anybody needs a primer on the ways in which Agatha Christie was kind of problematic, just look up And Then There Were None previous titles. Because it was published under two progressively worse titles prior to it currently being called And Then There Were None. It's still a great story. And I've seen it performed as a play, and it's amazing, and I love it, but whoo boy. Thank you for your LGBTQ plus videos. As a queer nerd, I really appreciate them. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate you folks. Because it's honestly, even a year ago, the idea of, even though I'd come out on this channel by that point, like the idea of sitting here looking like this with my hair down and makeup on, talking live and not being afraid, that idea would have blown my mind. And yet here I am. Life's funny. And sometimes amazing. I just looked up And Then There Were None original title, and yikes. Yeah. I did warn you. Oh. Thanks, everybody. I do think I am going to wrap it up. We love you as you are, Vera and Nathaniel. Thank you. Almost forgot Pride of the Daleks. Oh, somebody had to get it in there. Goodness sake. We love you and your bravery. Thank you, Carolyn. Happened to me. Should I feel just as offended to be pushed as you are gay when you are not, as is to be pushed as you are straight when you are not? I mean, I'm not going to tell you how much to be offended by what people do, but like, I think you have an equal right to frustration. Certainly, if someone's going to insist that, you know, if you're bisexual or pansexual or have any kind of mixed leanings and somebody insists that you're gay, you have as much right to be frustrated with that as someone who was insisting that you're straight. Like, the presumption is that someone insisting you're straight would be worse, but honestly, either one is denying who you are. As a young trans girl looking to change her hairstyle and love yours, may I ask what the back of yours looks like? Oh! Yeah, actually, that's funny. Okay, so it's just, so up top is what's long, and then all the way around, like it's outgrown a little bit right now. I need to get it trimmed, but it's with it's number 2 clippers for just the whole way around. And the back, like the very back here, is slightly shaped so that it's not falling straight down, because when it gets too long, like it just weighs straight down and it doesn't So this bag is slightly shaped to flow that way where the rest of it's going. But the reason the hair in general goes this way is that's just where my part naturally goes. So that was an easy call to make. Okay, hang on. Gotta ban somebody. Here we go. And bye. There we go. That was another easy call. I don't enjoy banning people, but you know, they come out of the woodwork. You deal with them when they show up. Celebrate. Daleks must celebrate. All right. The ban hammer is a vital tool. Oh my God, yeah. Like, that's my first recommendation for anybody, not even just LGBTQ plus people, anybody starting a YouTube channel. Be liberal with the block button. Seriously. If somebody's stirring up crap, just get rid of them. You don't owe them a platform. So, yeah, I think, going to wrap it up. You gay dude? You lift bro? 9 times out of 10 when people ask me that with what they mean, the answer is no, I'm not. Because you're asking me if I am attracted to men? No. My partner's a woman. She's been on the channel. She's awesome. The wildling friend of Jon Snow. All right. Yeah, I am going to wrap it up. So, I hope everyone has a good rest of Pride Month. I hope that people have good rest of the week. These these live streams, they honestly help a lot sometimes because there's a lot of crap that I'm dealing with that. This honestly, in a lot of ways, 2019 has not been great. It's been kicking my ass on a lot of levels, but once a week I get this little pick-me-up. And it's nice. So next week, it'll be 7 o'clock. Probably not going to go through and not going to put all this on, but it's amazing to me that I could feel safe to do it here with you. So thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. However you do it. Like the donations and the super chat, like, it's amazing. The Patreon's amazing, but just being here, just watching, just listening to my nonsense. Thank you. You are beautiful. You are loved. You are the Council of Geeks. Happy Pride.